Premier Doug Ford says he will not allow a PC party vote on gender identity at next year's convention. The question now, though, is, can he stop it? During the weekend at the PC Party convention, grassroots members voted in favor of pushing ahead talks on a controversial resolution proposed by Tanya Granick-Allen, a former leadership candidate from the far-right side of the party. The resolution calls for the recognition of gender identity as liberal ideology and to remove it from the sex ed curriculum. It caused a backlash with critics saying it was attacking transgender people and taking the province backwards. Here's what the Premier said about it today.
It's non-binding. It came from the floor. I'm not moving forward with that, so it's done.
Are you going to reconsider? I'm sorry, can you clarify that? I didn't really...
It came from the floor, Cynthia, right. And it's non-binding, so it's done.
Will you allow it to go forward?
No.
So you're killing it. You're denouncing it.
It's done.
But it may just not be quite as easy, all that. When I asked the Premier's spokesperson right after that exchange for more information, I was emailed this response. Premier Doug Ford will explore every option as leader of the Ontario PC Party to prevent this resolution from moving forward. Now, the challenge for Ford is to keep all sides of the party together. His predecessor, former PC leader Patrick Brown, for example, enraged parts of the party after he embraced the sex ed curriculum as well as cap and trade. And speaking of Patrick Brown, Doug Ford spoke today about his controversial book, the tell-all scathing book from Patrick Brown, who says that he was betrayed by many in the party. This is what Premier Ford had to say about it.
I have to question his leadership, but as for the people of Brampton, I'll always support the people of Brampton. I was out there last night with the Sikh Motorcycle Club, and
did he do a disservice to the people of Brampton?
He definitely did a disservice to the people of Brampton, and it's not just myself. I think each and every one of you. It's common sense. You know, you win the mayor of Brampton, I guess 47,000 votes. And I would have scrapped the book as quickly as possible, but he wants to get out there and continue trashing people. I wouldn't do that.
Now, the book claims there was an allegation of sexual misconduct by a female staffer against Finance Minister Vic Fedeli. Doug Ford today said that there was an independent investigation into the allegations, and he supports Fedeli more than 1,000%. And Ford also met with his Quebec counterpart today, Premier Legault from Quebec. And coming up, their disagreement over some of Ford's cuts last week.
There you go, my friend.
Thank you.
Premier Doug Ford had a visit today from his Quebec counterpart, Premier François Legault. They were all smiles with their hockey sweaters in Ford's office, but when the cameras left, they had a difference of opinion over Ford's announcement last week. He was pulling funding from a planned Francophone university and consolidating Ontario's French Language Services Commissioner, which is a watchdog for the Francophone community, with the Ombudsman's office. Now, Premier Legault spoke to the media here at Queen's Park after that meeting, and he said that it sends the wrong message to Francophones, and he asked Premier Ford to reconsider. The answer he received, he says, was no.
Could you tell us why you object to Premier Ford's decision on this case? Why?
In Quebec, I have the responsibility of supplying, giving services to Anglophones. We have 3 Anglophone universities. We have a large hospital, McGill Hospital in Montreal, only for, not only, but especially for Anglophones. So I would have liked to see a Francophone university in Ontario. I would prefer to keep a commissary that is dedicated only to Francophones.
Will this hurt your relationship with Premier Ford?
No, I don't think so.
Now, Doug Ford held his own quick, unplanned news conference shortly after the Quebec premiers, and Ford was trying to set the record straight.
We have 300 courses that are not being filled, French language courses. We have 10 colleges and universities that offer French language courses. It's irresponsible, totally irresponsible from the previous government, the Liberal government. And if anyone has a complaint, they should be calling Kathleen Wynne's office. A couple days before the election, they promised this university, knowing darn well they didn't have the money. That's wrong.
Now, the two premiers also discussed interprovincial trade. Right now, there's $82 billion worth of trade between Ontario and Quebec. The two premiers agreed they'd like to increase that to $100 billion. And by the way, in that news conference with Premier Doug Ford, did you notice there were no stanchions in front of him, keeping the media several feet away from him? I haven't seen that since his election campaign began.